Good morning, evening, afternoon, everyone. My name is Mark,
And I'm Zoe.
and we are the Board Adventurers. Back to you with another fresh off the shelf. And this one isn't as fresh as it should be, but this falls in the parameter of our fresh off the shelf. So this is the 1 to 4 player game, Darwin's Journey, designed by Simone Luciani and Nestor Mangoni. I apologize if I mispronounced that, and published by Thundergriff Games. Now we're going to try to compact how you play this game into as condensed an idea as possible, because there's a lot of stuff that goes into this game. So the first thing you're going to do is you're each going to set up the main board out in the center of the table, and you're going to give each player one of these main boards. You're going to give each player three of these main explorer cards, I believe they're called. But the whole point of these cards is that they'll give you the seal that's on the top right. From that, you're going to put your seal on for those players there, and you're going to set up your player pieces next to it over there. That's going to be your starting seals that you're going to have the color of. You're going to then each deal out 2 objectives, one from the silver, one from the gold. You're each going to get money based on the player count. And then you're going to set up the board kind of according to the rule book. That's a little too detailed for what I can remember right now. But what can you do in this game? The main things you can do in this game are really in the top left section of that board. So the main actions you can do are your walking, your exploring, your navigation, which is your blue. And exploring is green, so that is that top left corner. Blue is navigation, I believe. Yellow is your envelope action. Don't know what that is off the top of my head, but it's that yellow action. And red is gaining new seals. And the kind of like interesting thing about this game is that on the top section of these boards, you have this large magnifying glass. Any number of players can share that space there. But if there's at least one person in the section that you're in, meaning that if you have a book section of that green and blue, you're technically in one section unless you have that red bookmark in the center there. If you were to put a piece in that same section, you need to pay coins based on the player count. So if it's a 2-player game, you need to pay 3. In more than 2 players, you need to pay 2. So just know that there's a price to do that. Along with those 4 main actions, you're going to get a section of 6 possible different actions. And this is where you kind of like create your own personalized game. So because you're going to draw out these tiles that have specific actions on them, and they're going to have 2 little solo magnifying glasses on them. You're going to start off with 2 of them, but then you can build out 4 more as the game progresses. Below that, you're going to have the magnifying area. So like there's an area where you can create your own lens on any of the top 4 actions and those bottom 6 area right there. You need to just pay the price on the space and you'll unlock that action. One of the cool things about this is that once you unlock that action, you can then perform that action as a bonus for paying for it. So once you see those top 6 actions on the top left, you're going to focus now on your specimen chart, which is that 4x4 grid that's in the right-ish area of the board. You're going to start with 6 of those spaces already filled and 10 off the board. Whenever you go on through a navigation action to an area that has one of these spaces filled in, you can then research one of those tokens and then put that research tracker on here. The top left action lets you deliver that specimen onto that 4x4. So what you'll do is you'll take the tile that's off of the board, you'll place it there, then you'll score coins based on the amount of spaces that are still left open on the track in the same row and the same column. Then you're going to advance on the theory of evolution track below it, that book track that's on the bottom, based on the number of specimens that are still there on the track, again in the row and the column. There's also tracks where it lets you change turn order. So turn order is variable in this. And there's another one that lets you get new objectives. So objectives go in the top area right here. If you ever complete one, you can put it into that location and it's going to take and you're going to take the reward based on that location. Some of them have a cost, so again, you have to pay that cost. And then you're gonna keep going until you have no more workers. So again, you have about 4 workers, and then purple is a wild, so that's a wild color. You can play it anywhere. Once you've played all 4 and everyone has passed, you're then going to advance the beagle. So on the bottom of the track, there is what's the HMS beagle. This is the round tracker for the game. So you have 5 rounds, and at the end of each round, you're going to check the beagle. If you are behind the beagle at where it is located, you're going to get negative points based on the reward for the beagle at the very bottom of that round. So let's say, for example, there is a reward at the bottom that says you get 4 points for every yellow seal you have. If it's the 3rd round and you are behind the beagle by a space of like 4, you'd then subtract 3 based on that area. Then you also subtract another 2. So and it would never go below 0. So you're just keeping track that way. You'll score multiple ways of points. You'll start counting all your points to the end, and then at the end of round 5, you'll count up all your points and you'll see who has the most victory points. That is the most. That's a very generic description of Darwin's journey. Just note there's many more facets to this game than what I've described. But yeah, what do you think?
Yeah. So Darwin's Journey was a game that I was very excited to play. I backed this on Kickstarter. Got the collector's edition version of this game. I was really excited to check this game out, and especially so after playing Grand Austria Hotel, because that's the first Simon Luciani game that we played, and we really, really enjoyed the design. Found it was just very clean and kind of cohesive design. I was a little let down with this game, to be honest. I don't think this game is as cohesive as Grand Austria Hotel, or at least outwardly cohesive. There are a lot of things you can do, but it's not as apparent how it all fits together the way that Grand Austria Hotel does. It does fit together. It's going to take a lot of plays for you to kind of click.
Yeah.
But there's a lot of wrong ways to play this game, and it doesn't. First couple plays, it's just not going to click for most people. It didn't for me.
Yeah.
But outside of that, it does the cardinal sin for me with heavy games in which there are so many action spaces that you can do, but they're also disparate. It doesn't feel connected the way that I would like it to. And if you separate all the action spaces, not any of them are that interesting to me. The most fun I have is getting more scrolls and putting on your player board so you can get that additional benefit from your cards that you select in the beginning of the game. But other than that, the other actions aren't that interesting to me, like chasing around the beagle, moving around Galápagos Island, collecting specimen. All that kind of action spaces aren't that interesting to me. What do you think of the game?
Yeah, so just like when I was talking about my top 5 games that I wanted to play for this year, this was the number 1 game. I was very excited to play this game. And I will say that first game that we played almost completely wrong. So just note that we didn't play the whole section of the page correctly.
Yeah.
Because we assumed the section was just the area of the color. So we had a decent amount of money.
We had a lot of money
going into like the last couple rounds, and we were spending a lot of it like crazy. So just note that. But it did get tighter the next couple times we had played, because what I noticed is that there's a lot of points in this game, and I think I'm noticing now with Luciani, where a lot of his actions are meant to cascade if you build it out that way. Because if you see like the seals, which again is this area right here, in order to go to a location, you need to build out the seals to go to that location.
Yeah.
Like the heavier actions on the, like say the base colors, require you to build out at least another color for you to go there. And not only that, but then you also have to build the money to pay for the space to go out there. So there's like a slight there's like almost a slight cascading, leveling up as
Mhm.
you're playing this game, because in the beginning it's going to be like, I can't go anywhere. I'm basically just paid to go to the same location to just get a seal. I can't
Mhm.
do anything. But then as you start unlocking spaces using the payment for that lens to get somewhere, it does start to open up kind of avenues, and that's where I think Luciani games will kind of shine, is that they offer you a lot of things. It just takes a while to get to that point.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like one thing I did like too is that like the top of these, like base colors too,
Mhm.
is if you can build out, say, four seals on any one worker, and
Mhm.
you've placed it on that space, you actually get a bonus. You
Yeah.
actually get an extension of that action, which again, it's a very tempting thing to do. It's like, I want to go explore, but do I want to explore three or do I want to explore two?
Mhm.
And sometimes, like you want to explore three because it gives you the tent, and then when you play the tent again, this is, we didn't really mention the tent, but when you play it, when you land on an area with a tent, you can play a tent area, and that gives you again a cascade of actions,
Yeah.
because the amount of whatever tent you play, so you'll get something for playing that tent out, which might
Mhm.
cascade into another thing.
Yeah. One thing with this game too that I enjoy, it works against it the first couple
Mm.
plays, but subsequent plays, it really is nice. It's 5 rounds. This is a very heavy game, and it's 5 rounds. When you don't know what you're doing, that's kind of limiting,
Mm.
because there's so many things you can do, right? You mentioned like the
Yeah.
tents, all these action spaces. When you don't know what you're doing, you're just doing a bunch of random things. You might get to the end of the game and realize I did so many things but did nothing. But when you do know what you're doing and you know the flow of the game, the 5 rounds,
Mm.
it's super tight because you really are a spearheading in one certain direction
Right.
for the game, and it works well as a 5 round game.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um, but yeah, I do like that
Yeah.
aspect of it. That
And
is,
then, like,
yeah.
also, like, the purple seals. So, like, I just I love the idea of a wild. So,
Mm-hmm.
like, you can there's some cards, like your base cards. So, like, whenever you get it, you get the base color.
Mm-hmm.
But if you can build out the seals that you have on that explorer, you get the effect on the bottom. So
Yeah.
that's again another thing you can build out to in
Mm-hmm.
in this game, is they give you a lot of avenues, but I could see it overwhelming at first. But now that I've seen kind of the iconography for most of it, it starts to click a little easier for me.
Yeah, yeah. This,
Yeah.
this is a very iconography heavy game.
Oh yeah, it's a
Very,
good shield.
and it's very intimidating
Yeah.
the first couple playthroughs. I that's kind of where I come down for this game, is that the first couple playthroughs is it's like a wash.
It
It's you.
was it was it was a little rough getting through the first one, and then the second one was a little, yeah, it was hard to get into, but I think it started to click for me after that third one.
Yeah, it's a game that you're gonna have to give patience for
Yeah.
just a click. And I wouldn't blame any gamers who wouldn't want to give a heavy game like this that much wiggle room
Yeah,
to get
fair,
there.
fair.
Um,
But yeah, so in terms of a score, like, where are you coming down at?
this was one of the hardest fresh off the shelves for me to score,
Mm.
because I don't dislike the game, but also don't love the game, and I have a lot of issues with it, but also appreciate it a lot. And I
Mm.
think I came down at a 2.5 out of 5.
2.5.
A
Okay.
2.5 out of 5 for me. I appreciate Simon Luciani's designs a lot. Um, I played it a lot to get to, because we knew we were going to review it, so I played it a lot. Now that we review it, I'm probably not going to play this game again.
Oh, really? Okay.
No, I don't think so.
Mm-hmm.
I the action spaces aren't interesting enough for me to sustain a heavy game like this. Um,
That's fair.
and for the Simon Luciani fix, I still would rather just go to Grand Austria Hotel as opposed to this. But I do
Mm.
think this is a pretty game. I could see if this clicks for someone, that it really clicks, which is why I had a hard time reviewing this,
Right.
because I could see what people like this. But for me, it's just a 2.5 out of 5.
I
What
see.
about you?
Yeah, so again, prefacing this was my number one anticipated game that I wanted to play this year. And the first, again, couple plays were rough, but it started to grow on me. The action started to click on me, and so I was ending up somewhere between a 4 and a 4.5.
Wow.
I'm coming down on a 4 right now.
Okay.
I see this game growing in my
Mhm.
estimation for what I like. I think Luciani is slowly becoming my favorite designer.
Nice.
Based on these two games that I played, it's like it feels like I just love the cascade of actions that I get out
I
of
can
these
see
games.
that. Yeah.
And when I played this game, like those later games that I played, I was at a point where I was able to cascade getting a seal.
Mhm.
That seal gave me the option then to move my character to to a navigation. It then moved me to a tent that unlocked my tent that let me explore, that let me get a specimen to the next round that I could send it in. It was like that click of like, oh my god, I was able to pull this off.
Mm,
I think is what shines for these Luciani type of games, and I could see this growing to a 4.5. But
nice.
right now it's at a 4.
You got to get more
Mm.
Luciani
I
games.
think we got to get Luke Liam. We got to get some of the other ones.
Nice. Good stuff. Cool. Well,
Mm.
that is our fresh off the shelf review of Darwin's Journey. Let us know your thoughts down below. I'm really curious to hear from people who played this game, what they
Yeah,
think of it.
because it seems like we have differing kind of
Yeah.
views here on this.
Yeah.
Mm.
But same conclusion, more Luciani games.
Yeah.
Cool. Thanks for watching the view. See you on the next adventure.